Well, hello. Today is gonna be a little unusual. If you watched my videos before, which is unlikely, you know I mostly talk about hard rock and metal. But this time I want to share something else. Tracks where guitar meets electronic music.
You are terminated.
To be honest, I wanted to make a video about such music more than 8 years ago, but there were some obstacles. Anyway, it's a special pleasure for me. On the one hand, it can rock as well as metal. On the other hand, it's that special electronic rhyme magic. But first, let's add some structure. I'd categorized it into 3 groups: psychedelic electronic music and trance with guitar inserts, industrial and its legacy, and modern hybrids of metal and EDM. Yes, it's not just cyberpunk music, although a little bit of this.
How do you fit all that in your head anyway?
In this video, I'll tell you how I came to this, what bands get me hooked, and let's share some cool tracks. So, take your headphones and we move on. My introduction to this sound started, of course, with the Infected Mushroom. A friend of mine, a savvy electronic music lover, knowing that I am a fan of metal, gave me something I might be interested in. And oh yeah, they were. When I first heard Becoming Insane, it was super cool, so I wanted more tracks like that, with all this hard beat and of course the guitar. Not just in the background, but a full-fledged participant of what was going on. I shared my impressions with a friend, to which he replied that I hadn't listened to The Legend of Black Shawarma. So I did. Oh my god. I think this is their peak. Harder tracks with guitar, rocking, and I don't have any adequate words to describe this brilliance. Just listen to it for yourself. Much later I visited their concert and realized how no worse, if not better, is it live. The show started with the guitarist coming on stage and playing a long solo. When I say long, I mean really long. With his hand under his head and also with his teeth at the EDM show. And it wasn't just a show for the introduction, he played until the end of the concert. Of course, back then I'd already known about their solid background in punk music, but it was still awesome. Obviously, the guitarists play even in those tracks that don't have guitar in studio version, so it isn't a find, but a legacy they've been keeping for years. And while Infected Mushroom is about density, drive and slightly aggressive delivery, 1200 micrograms is like watching an acid encyclopedia. More trance and psychedelic, but the guitar riffs are frequent and bright. Although this is often due to the source material, they have a lot of covers. Acid for Nothing is an anthem for anyone who loves both rock and rave. The same goes for Mescaline and Rock to the Future, which are real examples of how the electric guitar can enhance trance instead of disturbing it. I've always liked the fact that in tracks like this, the guitar adds a nerve, a sense that there is something familiar for me, but for electronic music lovers it can be like a spacey paper for a natural dish. The Prodigy deserves a special mention. Not trance, not industrial, not rock. The Prodigy, the only one. They had guitars, especially in the early period, but they were not used as a foundation, more as an extra way to stir things up. The Low is a great example, an angry riff that lives in the same rhyme as the breakbeat. Firestarter, Fuel My Fire, Spitfire. The guitar there is already like an energetic instrument, a skeleton for a track, and sometimes is distinguished among other effects. But on concert they always added live guitars. Sometimes it sounded a bit dirtier, sometimes even heavier than in the studio. Not the best candidate for this video, but it was impossible not to mention them as well. This is a funny story from my childhood. In those years there were two opposite groups. Those who loved The Prodigy and those who loved Scooter. I have no idea why it was like that, but I was in the Scooter group. And also I love Mortal Kombat, if you know what I mean.
Fire!
By the way, the film is shit. Now let's move to the dark side.
I am unarmed. Strike me down with it. Give in to your anger.
The previous guys took the guitar and added it to the electronic music, but in industrial it was the other way around. Electronic music was added to the already heavy, tough hard rock and metal. KMFDM is one of the pioneers of this approach. Their tracks are a pile of scrap metal. The guitar are crunchy, aggressive and crisp. Well-known juke joint Jezebel and Megalomaniac are great examples of how you can create music that makes you want to both dance and protest at the same time. They had a sense of irony, of absurdity, and yet everything sounded hard and nice. From the same wave came the famous Rammstein and many others. Yeah, they usually get lumped in with metal bands, but they were really built on the same principles. Strong beat, industrial sound and guitars as a big part of the cake. And if KMFDM had everything in the spirit of cyberpunk and postmodernism, Rammstein became a symbol for something else, hard and theatrical. But even in their music there's a lot of irony and satire. And as for me, these synthetic parts work to convey that. You could say that industrial was the direction where guitar and machine learned to keep up without arguing over who was in charge. Hopefully, the story doesn't end there, in the early 2000s. Over time, the genres began to blur, but even now there's still life in electronic music with guitar riffs. It just became more introverted, infamous. Projects like Neurotech have made music where the guitar is almost an orchestral instrument. It doesn't create the rhyme, but it expands the space. Push like button if you want a video about them, or don't, I'll do it anyway. It's no longer a rave or a riot, it's an immersion, especially on the later albums. From the Decipher volumes to Memory Eternal, they're like if trance and symphony metal went to a bar and became friends. But to be honest, I miss their past aggressiveness. There are more classic neo-metal forms, but often as part of the indie scene. I accidentally came across the Borg 750, an absolute masterpiece, but does anyone know about it? I doubt it. It's like a cross between KMFDM and Neurotech, but everything sounds like you're in a robotic factory in hell. And there is a party. Projects like that are not about the masses, they are about the atmosphere, the state of mind. And if all this used to be played in clubs, now it's played in headphones on the way home at night, when everything around you is buzzing and flashing. Are there other examples of better known bands that are closer to modern times? Sure, some of them are like EDM with guitar, others are closer to industrial, but in general the genres have mixed, are mixing and will continue to mix, so it's okay. Does it work? Of course it does. But does it lose its own thing? This is music at the crossroads of genres and eras, where the guitar can delight the electronic board, or perhaps coexist with it. I didn't know I was into it until a friend gave me some advice one day, so maybe you will like my advice too. Like and subscribe, and if there is more, let me know who I've forgotten. Maybe there is a whole treasure still hidden from me. All the best!